You may disagree, but up to me, it's a fact. You're paying running backs, it ain't no fun in that. Yeah, the sermon about to start, so I hope you know your stats. And if Kev get it wrong, then Rashad on his back with the facts. Matter of fact, all we do is say wins. When wings, congregation say amen. Trades, debates, wins, losses, the latest news, but Prophet Kev speak, he got him saying hallelujah.
Welcome to Preach Kev, Preach with Rashad. We are the prophets. Here in an episode, another sermon coming at you from Wildcard Sports here on Wildcard TV. Rashad, my brother, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much, bro. Just been checking out some of this new music out, man. A lot of new stuff is dropping out here, man. It's almost too much to keep up with. So I'm guessing at some point within the next couple months, or at least top of 2022, we'll see people going on tour again. So a lot of people are starting to, the music was hitting, but it was hitting different in quarantine, just during the course of 2020 and 21, just because of normally people are having shows, concerts, all that kind of stuff. But just with everything going the way it was going, nobody's going into pack out an arena. So I want to see how some of this stuff plays out in the next couple of months with as far as like shows and stuff like that. I know a few artists have put out some concert dates, but nothing I'm willing to jump on right now. But I want to see how it turns out, man. It's always good to go to a little concert.
Who you liking right now?
Oh man, I'm not a big fan of them, but Migos just dropped their album. I'm not checking that. I'm gonna rock with them.
I like it.
Of course, the Polo G project. I'm rocking with that. Cole dropped a little while ago, so there's a couple things out there, man.
But Meg, boy, that thought she.
Hey, video went crazy.
Video went crazy. Yeah. I think Tori the baby dropped some. I heard. I forgot. It was some song. But my boy Blast continued to hop on people's tracks and be he become one of them hook artists. You gotta have him. But you're right though.
K Camp new joint. I rock with K Camp. His new joint go hard.
That's my boy.
I mean, we got the buzz that Mr. Champagne Poppy Aubrey Drizzy Drake whatever he going
in the summer, right?
He say he dropping, but my boy lied to us that he was dropping earlier, so we don't know what to believe, man.
That man said he was dropping in April. January.
Certified liar boy, what they calling it?
Certified liar boy. That's
my boy pulling up the Bronny games with the crazy stance out there.
But he not. Oh yeah, you saw like that. He's so stupid. Yeah. He better be in the studio, man. Go ahead and drop for the rest of the summer, man. But you're right. There's a lot of good projects coming out, and like you said, hey, Big 3. I need the dates to drop.
Bro,
I'm pulling up.
Big 3. So they doing championship in like the Bahamas or something this year, man. Big 3 going crazy.
Okay, Ice Cube, I see you now. Hey, it's a lot of good things going on, man.
Man, they just did the draft the other day.
Yeah, I didn't check the teams. Is Corbin Gay still in the Team Power, Katina Mobley? Oh, he was trying.
I didn't check the rosters or the draft, man.
I was Team Power, bro, for a good minute, so I got to find a team to cheer for. I think I'm gonna catch the one that's in New York whenever the dates drop. But
yeah, year one I was rocking with Trilogy, and they did win the title. And then last year I was rocking with Joe Johnson and crew, and they killed it. I know you've been with Corey them the whole way.
I've been Power 2 years now, man. I'm low key Team Power for real. But if Corey go, I gotta go too. I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta check the roster, man, so I can get me a team for this season, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. The big 3 definitely is a good outing. Just a good event to go to. But you mentioned all the concert and stuff. Like I'm gonna have to go check me out a baseball game. Like just to enjoy some good vibes, man. Like just being able to go outside again. I think a lot of people take a lot of things for granted, and now that you realize like it can be taken away, now it's open back up, man. You got to go here and go and enjoy yourself, man. Because like we always say, man, money comes and goes, but time don't.
Hey, even the movies back open up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I haven't saw one in theaters yet, man.
Hey,
but
go see Quiet Place. Go see Quiet Place in movies, man. That shit was good.
Like, man, good. I saw the first one. Like when I first saw it, I really didn't dig it.
More action this time.
it took me a while to go back and rewatch it, and I kind of appreciated it more on the second time I saw it, just because like I started to really put myself in their shoes. Like, what if you really couldn't talk? Like, you have the ability to talk, but to communicate, you can't talk because your life is basically over.
Yeah.
So I started to put myself in their shoes from that standpoint of like, man, that's really a crazy concept to try to master. So when I first saw it, I really didn't appreciate that. But the second time I saw it, I kind of was put myself in their shoes and I kind of analyzed it a little bit more, and I thought it was a dope movie the second time around I saw it.
I would say definitely more action in Quiet Place 2. And speaking of action, bro, all these playoff games, they at first I thought it was gonna be a boring second round. At one point, 3 series, 2-0. The Suns went ahead and took care of Jokic and the Nuggets in the 4-0 sweep. But Clippers came back, the Bucks came back, the Sixers and the Hawks, going battling up, going back to Philly in a close series. So man, it's all these series coming down to the wire. Injuries gonna play a big part in the Knicks and Bucks series. You know what to expect from the Clippers and Jazz series, because all 4 games has gone completely lopsided. And then the Sixers and the Hawks, man, it's kind of like a who gonna outlast who. Like it just who gonna make the last play, and who gonna make the run early in the game. Because I feel like that game had been like crazy runs where somebody be up 20 points and then the other team come back every game. So let's start with the Suns and the Nuggets, since that's the series that's over with.
Hey, shots that I took wet like them book.
I'm about to say, Book better be careful. The team Serbia
Jokic
coming for him now. But but the Suns, man, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, Bridges, and Aiden, guys, and the rest of the team, man, 4-0 domination, start to finish. Your thoughts from the series?
I mean, I kind of thought it was going to go that way anyway. I had it going 5. I thought Jokic could have gotten 1. But my whole thing the entire time was you're missing Jamal Murray, you're missing Barton. Michael Porter Jr., solid offense, but defense leaves something to be desired. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, man, you're down 2 starters. The Suns 5 starters against 3 starters, like legit starters. That's gonna win it. That's gonna win out. So I had the Suns at 5. Last week I said, I doubled down on the Suns at 5 still, and they pulled off a sweep. The game 4, the ejection with Jokic, I get it, but I don't get it. There was the wind up, by letter of the law, you got to throw them out because of the wind up. But you're thinking, all right, man, it's a game 4. It's potentially the last home game of the season for these guys. And at least let dude go out and try to compete.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
they were in a winnable game, but ultimately when he was ejected, that kind of was the last little bit of the fight they had in them. So Suns got him in a sweep. Chris Paul played phenomenal. DeAndre Ayton, he made sure Jokic felt him every game, almost every possession down. Bridges is ascending. And then, of course, you got, like I said, D-Book. I mean, dude is putting on the show. He finally showing people like, hey, I've been in the league a minute. I've been scoring 26, 27 points, averaging that for plenty of seasons. Mm-hmm. Y'all see what I can do. Stop playing up my name.
Stop playing with him. And and all that is off the back of Chris Paul's leadership, and you see, like, my whole thing in this series, I knew Jokic was going to dominate, and I was like, through the season, like, at some point, this Jamal Murray's injury will be felt, right? And against the Portland Trailblazers, it didn't feel that way because Rivers was scoring 20, or Monte Morris put up 25. Porter Jr. had his way, right? You
don't feel it because the Blazers don't play defense.
Exactly where I'm going. Yeah, exactly. So,
they can't stop anybody.
So now you're playing a team who prides themselves on playing defense. Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges' length. Chris Paul has been known for defense, and you got the team has been a slow paced team, unlike Portland, who won the most tempo teams in the league. So it's kind of like it's a 180 flip of type of team you're playing, where you need a Jamal Murray. Because you're gonna have to fight star with star, and again, it was an 8 and was like, man, he had 32, 20, and 10, and Suns won pretty not easily, but it was pretty convincingly, right? So, it was a series that you knew at some point had to happen because not only like the missing the Murray, missing the Barton part. People always forget this, and I always got to bring it up. What Jeremy Grant meant to the Nuggets, like he was a guy who could be a scorer, be a defender. When you replace that with Aaron Gordon, and okay, I mean that's you saw it
on paper.
On
that
paper.
Move seemed like it was solid.
It seemed solid.
Like at the deadline, we were like, okay, that's a good move.
That's a good move
because you lost Grant.
Right.
So you know you need to get somebody who else is athletic, can get you about 12 to 16 points. But this series was not the series for him.
No, it wasn't.
And they said he was the one calling people out. Like, yeah, my man, you got to step up on the court yourself. Call yourself out.
Hey, he could, but
Sure,
I mean, what is he gonna do?
Hey, I'm Paige and MJ, man in the mirror, boy.
Better start with yourself, cuz. But yeah, Aaron Gordon didn't play up to his potential. And like I said, you're counting on Austin Rivers and Campazzo and Monte Morris to bring the Jamal Murray production, and when that doesn't happen, it's felt. And Jokic realized, like, I need help, and Porter Jr. didn't help him either. So nobody really helped him. So what do you expect? You know, what do you think is gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, you playing one of the best teams in the league, and there's a reason why they're a 2 seed, almost had the 1 seed in the West. So shout out to the Suns. I tweeted this, and I actually got a lot of reactions. I said, so are we all rooting for a Suns final appearance? And a lot of people saying we want a Suns win. So it seems like a lot of people are rooting for the Chris Paul to get a title, rooting for Devin Booker to get that title, and just the Suns in general because of what all those players have done and Monty Williams, of course. So it seems like everybody wants to take Phoenix, as a champion.
I mean, when you think about it, the Suns are the sentimental favorite because of the Chris Paul thing. Like, everybody's debating, is he a top 5 point guard all time or not?
Which he is.
D Booker been slept on. They're a young ascending team. The whole thing from, the sad stuff that happened with Monty and his family, and now he's back coaching and they're having some success. They kind of gained a lot of steam in the bubble going 8-0. They were kind of put on people's radar under that circumstance. So they are the sentimental favorite.
If you had to say right now before we figure out who makes all to the rounds, would you pick Suns to win?
If they play Jazz, they come out the West. Yeah, Clippers. I'll take Clippers to win the West.
Okay, all right. Well, let's stay in the West. Jazz, Clippers. I mean, we had this conversation in the last episode with my boy T was here, and we're talking about the Jazz and Clippers. And at first, I was looking right. I was like, well, y'all, what y'all thinking? Clippers can't win this series. Up Jazz dominate 2-0. Donovan Mitchell going crazy. I thought, from what you saw, Jazz making shots, played enough defense to keep the other players in check. And then when they went to LA, Kawhi,
everything switched.
Everything switched. You can't stop Kawhi. You can't stop Paul George. And then there are guys, because this had my biggest question coming to the playoffs: who is the Clippers' third scorer? It was Reggie Jackson game 3, and now it's in game 4. It was Marcus Morris. So what the Jazz have to do is find a way to minimize the Paul George and Kawhi effect, as far as like both of them being the best 2 players on the court, right? I think that's why Jazz won game 1 and game 2 pretty, not convincingly, but in control. Because would you say this Mitchell was the best player on the court, like in both games 1 and 2?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, he was dominating. I mean, they really just couldn't stop him. I know game 1, I think Ty Lue used the whole bench almost. They just came off of game 7 and the guys were tired. So I think he played at least 10 or 11. I think 11 guys. Yeah. Probably 12. But I know everybody who was dressed that game basically got in.
So if Mitchell's the like I said this a long time ago, if the Jazz, all right, everybody said they're not what real contenders, right? And it's like, why? Because it all predicates on that superstar role. Because when you're playing a Clipper-led team with Kawhi and Paul George, or a Laker team with LeBron, the Giannis on the Bucks, Durant, Harden, and Kyrie, and Nance, you need some kind of star that's going to take some load off. And what Mitchell did game 1 and game 2, that's what he provided. And then game 3 and game 4, when he's not number 1 on the court, and when he potentially like number 3, that's where it gets like, okay, maybe Jazz don't stand a chance. And when Clarkson miss 6, 7 threes and Bogdanovich not making shots, those are other two scorers, especially with Mike Conley being hurt. I think that's another big thing that nobody really talking about is like the absence of Mike Conley, which wasn't felt game 1 and 2. But now that you lose, you can't really say, oh, because we didn't have Mike Conley. You can't have, so you can't play both fields. So you don't have him. I don't think he's coming back. I haven't seen any reports saying he's playing. So Jazz, I mean, you're gonna have to rely on Clarkson and Bogdanovich to come through because we know the Stifle Tower is not providing points. So you gotta get it from somewhere.
Yeah, the Conley loss wasn't felt in games 1 and 2 just because of the style they were making all the shots,
right.
And Mitchell was basically having his way. I mean, he got in the paint when he wanted to. He was knocking. I think he had 45, so he was going crazy, making the shots. When he got to his spots, he was kicking it out to Ingles, Bogdanovich, Clarkson. Those guys were eating. And then, as you can see, as a series naturally does, coaches make adjustments. So Ty Lue has made adjustments to the defense, and they just can't. They, particularly Mitchell, can't just get in and break down that defense. It's going to be one-on-one, long shots, and Kawhi has stepped up his game. Paul George stepped up his game. Morris, Jackson, all these guys are stepping up. Zubac putting in good minutes. Batum playing good defense. So it's just a matter of those guys are playing better ball than the Jazz because they made adjustments. Now the Jazz have to adjust to the Clippers' adjustments.
Yeah. And I think the difference between the Jazz and the Mavs is, one, we can say this, is a reason why Mitchell isn't a superstar versus Luka, because nobody can sit here and tell me that the Mavs roster is better than the Jazz roster. Like, there's no way. So, and you're talking about getting smacked from the get-go, both games, game 3 and game 4. Like, well, you had no shot. So,
and they really were getting beat game 1. I think on the Clippers just gassed out or what. They were losing game 1 early, but they kind of battled back into it, and Mitchell just went crazy.
So I'm very interested to see the like you said, the adjustments Quinn Snyder makes. Game 5 probably be already done before this airs. So, but it's like where the adjustments going to come from, because I feel like Quinn Snyder is going to give something to Ty Lue to change up, and obviously, it's going to be hard to start. Cause I think y'all asked this, like, who going to guard KD? I was like, I don't know. Who can guard Kawhi? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
What's O'Neal?
Jazz is a team oriented, like, team, like they're everything is team oriented. Like, who will score the points? The team. Like, yeah, Mitchell can score 45, but end of the day, he gonna have 25. You're gonna need Bogdanovich and Clarkson to give you 20 as well. Like, you're gonna have to have the team do everything. So, how can a team beat a Paul George and Kawhi led team? And that's what we're gonna have to see. I think Gobert needs to step it up as far as not even the scoring part, because I'm not gonna ask that. He's a defensive superstar. I'm gonna need him to, like, these pick and rolls and rebound. I need him to control the glass. Like, and I think that's probably why, like you saying, Zubac playing good minutes. Like, he's keeping him from dominating the game. Like that you will see, because come on, only got everybody. What the starting lineup is what. I think they're still starting the small guys, so it's like you gotta really show your height. And until Gobert, I need Gobert to have 20. I think he already had a 20 rebound game, but I think he need to have the 15. He need to average plus 15, not get no 8 or no 9. Like, that's not good enough for me.
Yeah, Gobert can definitely offer more on the offensive side, but this doesn't. We would hope he can, but for us, like this, it's not really his game. Like, he's not the Embiid, the Jokic type where he can initiate offense or step out to the 3 mid-range jumper, all that, because he's more going to be putbacks and lobs.
If he does score, I think Clippers will lose. Like, if he's getting a lot of, like, easy dunks, I feel like that's a way that the Clippers will lose the game if he scored 20.
Yeah, if he's getting a lot of easy dunks, that mainly just means Mitchell's penetrating the defense and they're getting some easy shots. So it'll be a closer game for sure, and it probably would lead to a Jazz win. So I want to see how the series plays out. 2-2. Let's see what Quinn Snyder can do. Can he come back what Ty Lue and staff have adjusted to? Kawhi's being Kawhi. Crazy dunk on Derek Favors.
Man.
Man, Kawhi is an epic playoff dunker, man. Like, he put up some. He got some crazy dunks against Philly in 2019. He got some crazy ones against Giannis 2019. He had a couple with the Spurs too.
That shit was
like,
nasty. That was nasty.
But the favorites one might be man. I think
That's up there.
I think the favorites dunk is probably one or two.
I think when you do the freeze frame and you see Mitchell's face and you see Favor's face, that one puts it over the top. Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Like that's probably one of Kawhi's. That's one or two, one of his best playoff dunks. I mean, he did dunk on Giannis. I think he dunked on I think it was Ibaka. He dunked on Ibaka with the Spurs. So he got a couple of gems in the stash.
Let me ask you this. All right, so potentially 3 games left in this series. What is more like? All right, so I'm gonna take two sides of this. The Clippers' downfall is because Kawhi's not superstarish enough. You get a resurface from pandemic P, playoff P, or what we said before, the Clippers roster just ain't good enough, meaning the Reggies, the Marcus Morris, all them guys don't show up.
I mean, Kawhi's gonna be Kawhi. I think the main thing is I need regular season P to stay to stay the same. Bro,
Regular season.
Bro, I gotta get this one off right here, man. So Paul coined himself playoff P. Normally, when you give yourself a name like that, that means you are ascending like to another level in the playoffs.
Right.
Bro, in 2013, 2014, that was Paul George's first season averaging 20 in the regular season and the playoffs. So since 2013, 2014 to the present day, his regular season average is 23.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists on 43%, 39%, 85%. Now, we're going to talk about playoff P. Playoff P, he averaging 24 points. Not even a whole point better. 7.5 boards, 1 rebound better, and 4.2 assists. Not even a whole assist better. How are you playoff P, bro? You giving the same production from the regular season. Regular season P. Like, bro,
I like that. Regular season.
Even the splits are the same. 42% down one spot from 43 to 42, 37% from 3, 86 from the free throw line. So, like, regular season P need to stay the same. As long as he stay the same, he knocking down 4 to 6 threes a game on about 10 threes, they'll be fine. Because, like, that zone, Mitchell can't break that zone. Unless you get shot out of a zone, you keep playing it.
Yeah. And I think Chris Snyder has said this a long time ago, because remember the Jazz really wasn't a 3-point shooting team. They just happened to turn into one because Mitchell Ascension, Jordan Clarkson can knock down threes, but Donovan can knock down threes. And everybody outside of Gobert was knocking down threes, right? So it's like I think they're comfortable living or dying by the 3. And that's why I don't know if we're going to see that adjustment as far as Gobert turn up and score 20 points. Maybe so. Maybe it might happen. But I feel like it's still gonna be we're gonna do what we do. My dad, Tony's sons back in the day. We're gonna shoot the shots, and if they fall, they fall. They didn't fall in game 3, game 4. They failed in 1 and 2. We'll see what happens in 5, 6, and potentially 7. So I think that's their downfall, or how they live. Like, they can make the 3, you win. Miss the 3, you go home. Simple.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, too, before we move on to the next topic. Brad Stevens spent 8 years in Boston as the coach, made 3 East Finals. Didn't win any of them, but he made 3 East Finals. This man had roster turnover, all that kind of stuff. And for this season, he was considered on the hot seat. We know he's transitioned to the role Danny Ainge formerly held. Cool. Mike Budenholzer, only been in Milwaukee 3 years. Yeah, made the conference finals, lost in the second round. 2-2 series right now. Let's see how that plays out. But he's basically saying, it's basically being reported like if they don't win the title or stuff like that, he's on the hot seat. He could get fired. But why are we not talking about Mike Malone, who been in Denver a couple of years, just got bounced out and get swept? Nobody's saying he on the hot seat. You got Quinn Snyder right here. His playoff record is average. Jazz haven't made any West Finals. They get knocked out first round, second round. Nobody's saying Quinn Snyder on the hot seat. So I want to know why are people getting picked and chosen about this whole who's on the hot seat, who's not. Like,
Well,
I think it should be an even playing field for everybody.
well, the Brad Stevens one probably don't really make sense to me. As far as like why was he on the hot seat? Because you can always say he overachieved those East Finals appearances. You know what I mean? The Coach Bud one, that's just because he don't realize the Giannis a center. That's his problem. And all this letting Giannis dribble the ball, that gotta stop. Like, you know, that's coaching to me. Like, he shouldn't be shooting. Like, I don't care what it is. What game was that? Giannis shot like 7 threes. I think the game 3.
Yeah, that was game 3.
Why is he shooting, bro? You know, I get if you go 2 for 2, all right, you can get like as a coach, you can, because you might be hot. I give you 3 off being hot alone, but you're not shooting 7 threes, bro, and that's ridiculous, right?
Like, bro, and he was just pulling. Like, he was just coming down pulling. Like,
you got a reason to be pulling like that.
Like, dog, do you think you KD?
That's what I'm
like,
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think you're Dame or Steph?
He
like,
got to be in his ear.
Are you even JJ Redick or Seth? You just pulling up like you just that dog, like that. Like, dog, you just pulling up like you that dude from out here. Like,
that's
you
the problem.
shoot like 20% from 3. What are you doing?
That's the problem there. Now I feel like the Nuggets and the Jazz were probably different scenarios just because, all right, it took a while. Well, one, Denver development is, I think, one of the best in the league, right? So I think you get passes for that because what we talked about last week, MVP, Jokic's the only second rounder ever, right? Jamal Murray, you know, out of Kentucky, I don't think nobody said star. I think he was going to be really good.
Yeah.
But I don't think we could say like this conversation where, oh, Nuggets ain't going far because Murray's not there. I think, like, you know, I didn't think we would reach that point that point. And then the Porter Jr. one, you know, that was more, he had the talent, is whether he can stay healthy. So I think remember when Bernie got hurt, I said like the best thing that happened to him was he get hurt, because if Porter ascend, then this next coming season is where I think the Mike Malone conversation comes up, because now you got 3 guys who should be scoring 20 plus. You got the reigning MVP, and now you got Jamal Murray more mature and realize, like, all right, you know, just getting more into the game, and so Mark Porter Jr. So I think this next season is the Mike Malone situation. Like, if you get put out first round, all right. And then the Jazz one, I just don't know if you can get too mad at Quinn Snyder for having to rely on what he's relying on, if that makes sense. Which is the same thing for Brad Stevens, I guess. Like, I feel like those two are probably in the same boat. Like, you're asking Quinn Snyder to go far with Rudy Gobert as your second best player. I don't know.
Like, I'm just throwing it out.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like, I'm just.
I think the Bud thing is different because he got Giannis, and that's. I mean, you can't be winning 60 games every year now, and everybody talking about you got the reigning MVP since you've been there, which I guess you got a part of that, right? And in playoff time, when it get crunch time to it, you don't have no offense, and you an offensive pop guy. Like, you know, that don't make sense to me. Yeah. So I think I think Bud's up here. I would say next year Malone. So I give Malone 2, and I guess Brad Stevens took himself out, but they probably would be tied 3 on that list, because you're banking on Tatum to take. I mean, granted, it worked this year as far as take that step to be the superstar or whatever, but you kind of like, has Tatum arrived? Are we like rushing Tatum's success? Because he only, what, 23 is that?
Yeah, Tatum like 23.
And, you know, and to say hot seat because they ain't going far. Like, what? You know, that don't make sense to me either. So I would say the Brad Stevens and the Quinn Snyder probably get a more pass to me because they don't have a Giannis, or now Mike Malone's case, a Jokic. Like, I ain't got an MVP on my team. Like, I'm hoping a 23-year-old and a 22-year-old can lead me to the promised land for Brad Stevens. And over here, you're hoping the same thing for Mitchell. And you hoping your Euro stars, Gobert, Bogdanovich, Ingles, can lead you far too. So, you know, I don't know. I feel that's probably why on that one.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out there, man. Like, I know the Jazz are one of the more patient organizations out there. Like, Jerry Sloan coached there until basically him and Darren Williams clashed. So, I mean, you know, like, I know they're pretty patient. What Denver's done front office wise and coaching wise, and just No, just drafting wise. I mean, I think they have one of the top 3 scouting departments in the league.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you get Michael Porter, you got Murray, Jokic, Bo, Barton, Gary Harris, like Jeremy Grant. Like the people they scout,
Nurkic.
sign, trade for. The people they scout, draft, sign, or trade for, all that kind of stuff. Torrey Craig, like they have some gems there, man. So like they have a top 3 scouting department, GM, all that kind of stuff, coaching staff. They're up there when you combine all the factors. But I'm just throwing it out there, man. Like as far as just the playoff record thing, like we got tired of Terry Stotts and his playoff record was terrible. And at what point do you decide to move on?
Yeah, that's and I don't believe everything is black and white when it comes to that. So like, every situation is going to be different. Based on what you got and what the hand you dealt with too. So, because a lot of people are still wondering. Like, I'm still wondering to this day, why the hell Pacers do what they did to Nate McMillan?
And look, they fired the coach after 1 year.
Come on,
now they back in the market. But that Pacers job, that Pacers job, it could be interesting depending upon
who takes it.
What they do with the roster and who takes it. Do they go offensive or defensive approach?
And that's probably why Denver and the Utahs are going to be careful, because are you going to risk giving up something like a great? Because in my opinion, Quinn Snyder's up there as one of the best, and Mike Malone has proven when he was the Kings, they was good with that year he was with the Kings, and then they fired him, and now look at the Kings at now. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful, because unless you're like the Lakers and the Nets who can attract those big names anytime you want to, you might want to be careful what you ask for. But let's move on to the East real quick, man. Let's go and stay with Bud in the Bucks and Nets. Obviously, this series is not as fun as we want it to be, just because the big 3 can't never play together. And I don't understand like why the NBA guys are doing this to us. Are they mad because the way Kyrie and James Harden did it? Like, are they mad? You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be a reason why everybody keep getting hurt. Harden, what, the first 3 minutes of the game was out. So
man, 43 seconds, bro.
So yeah, so that was a problem. So either way, Nets dominated the first 2 games. Bucks came back, struggled, but came back and won game 3 and game 4. Almost lost game 3. So what do you? I guess game 5 happened Tuesday. So I guess like what is your? I'm trying to say what kind of angle I want to take here. Like I know Harden came back for game 5, but this whole Kevin Durant legacy thing, like what's your take on that? Because I know Stephen A. Smith got killed by Max on the shows, like how he was saying LeBron didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love, but we expect him to win. But Kevin Durant, if he lose, it don't mean nothing. Like, and when you have been said that Kevin Durant is the best player in the world, so do you hold Durant to that same standard? Like, even if Harden not 100% and can't give everything he got, do you still believe that Kevin Durant should be able to take this team and still win?
I mean, you got to be able to get one game. Like, when you're on this level, you're all world. You got to be able to get one game. Like, AI took one on the Lakers. LeBron in 07, he was just a little too young.
Yeah, that was overreaching.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a little. He was in year 4 in 07, so he didn't get one. And I mean, even 2018. I mean, this guy LeBron. I mean, he deserves
what he did. What he did.
He deserves all the accolades that he's gotten, man. Because like to get that 2018 Cavs team even to the finals,
right? So basically,
and
not
then
overreaching.
He played the best game I've ever seen in game 1, and J.R. Smith kind of took it from him. Like, he would have got one on that team.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta when you're comparing these guys all time across the board, I think KD has a skill set to get you one. I mean, he missed Westbrook for some games in 2014 when he won MVP. He was averaging like 33, 7-5, 7-6. So he has the skill set to go out there and do everything, but you just need it one time. Like Kevin Durant is great enough to get you one game. And like just from a legacy standpoint, it'll be like, okay, well, this guy isn't good enough to get you one game. And it'll show like, hey, he needs these guys, But like to get the series up 3-2, it'd be important for him to have that in his back pocket. Like, look, even without my two guys, I still beat this team basically fully healthy. I mean, DiVincenzo, you missing him, but I basically beat this team fully healthy.
I doubt that's the reason why the Bucks lost game 1 and 2. yeah. No, I'm with you though, and if you the Bucks, man, I swear to God, if they lose this series, like you know how much I love Giannis and Middleton, but it's like if y'all can't get this done, and the fact that the Sixers that we'll talk about later might not make the next round, like if you don't come out here and like realize the opportunities you got, what Giannis said about the Heat, we ain't want to play without food. What you playing for with the Nets for? Because you gonna mess around and the game be close, you gonna lose. Like you already survived game 3, right? And like I said, we're recording the show
we're recording right now. Like
as game 5
right now.
as game 5 being played. So it's like if you don't come and take advantage of a game 5 and a game 6, you let game 7 come and Harden's got his legs back and come back in there, you probably going home. And that's the whole part about the Bucks. Like, be careful, Bucks, like, because you got a lot of breaks. Because as I knock on wood, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday healthy. Lopez healthy. Like, you miss a DiVincenzo, but you can replace that. But like, this is the year you got to win a championship. There's no LeBron on the other side. Like, if the Clippers gonna be small and go, Kawhi and Paul George as the big men, well, you got Giannis. Suns, the Suns you match up well. Is that you can't not make it if that's gonna happen to the big 3 of the net. So, Bucks, man, I don't know.
Yeah, man, I just want to see, it's gonna be interesting, man. Like, if the Bucks can't get it done, I don't know what's gonna happen, man. Like, I think that means Bud's fired. Roster wise, I don't know what they do though. Cause I've been saying they've been stuck for the last couple years.
They let Brogdon go. That's why I think they lost that. That's why I think they messed up, man. I don't care what they say. Choosing Brook Lopez over Brogdon. How many times did choosing the big man over the guard work in history?
Man. Like,
when does that work?
I mean, they could easily found another floor space and big, but they did what they did, and they got to roll with it, man.
They paid for it now because they traded how many first round pick they traded for Holiday, like.
but bro, the crazy thing is, like, the Bucks, in like a weird way, they will make a terrible decision and somehow they'll bail themselves out of it every time.
That's true.
Because you would have thought, like, oh, y'all done messed up, Brogdon gone, but you end up getting Drew. Like, you got awful bled, so you got Drew, so they will dig a grave, but get up out of there, man.
At the last possible second. So maybe that's why they're down 2-0. They want to dig us out another grave and see if they can get out. But it's a hard thing for me to see because I just don't like the way the Bucks are playing. Like, just the way that they're doing, the way they're playing. They shouldn't be playing this, bro. I should be pick and rolling your ass to death with Giannis. Like, I'm gonna spam that pick and roll button all day because you gotta make a decision every time, and a lot of people gonna get tired of getting hit by Giannis. That's just. But they want to play Giannis and shoot threes all day, and he get fired. What he do? Miss them damn free throws. Jesus Christ! You gotta
I want to see how this game 5 gets officiated, man. Because PJ Tucker was playing a little rough out there. So let's see how this one go. I mean, it's 10-2 right now in first quarter. So we're recording live as the game goes on. We didn't want to wait for a reaction. So
yeah,
but I want to see how the game play out.
I was about to say it's up to the Bucks. I mean, they had no excuse at this point. Like, he had no excuse. And when you had that situation, like, when you mind yourself, like, okay, we have to win this game, and you don't, with a guy like Giannis, it's different if we talk about the Jazz. If it's Mitchell and Gobert, I think that's different. But when you have Kawhi, Paul George, Giannis, and Kevin Durant, like, you got to win those games. So we'll see the Bucks pull out game 5. They better win in game 6 because all right, you mess around. Like, you let the best player in the world, and Rashad said best player in the world, game 7, Kevin Durant. I don't wish that nobody, none of my enemies, for real.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting turnout, man. Like Harden's banged up. Kyrie rolled his ankle. I don't think Kyrie can come back.
Yeah, I think he said he's going
for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean, it may just be one of those things, man. Where the big three don't pan out year one, it take year two. So this could just be a year where it's wide open for somebody to get it. And the story of it all is going to be injuries. Everybody's getting banged up.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of banged up, Sixers, Hawks, Embiid still a little hurt. And I don't know if we want to. Can we point that 0 for 12 in the second half of performance of being injured, because man, he injured my heart, because I had a parlay with the Giants, Dodgers, and the Sixers, man, and what he do? Nothing. I was mad, and he missed the game go ahead bucket in game 4 to go up commanding 3-1. So now you have to win 2 out of 3 against the Hawks, and the Hawks are dangerous. They're just as dangerous. I feel like we talk about the Sixers. How many players do the Sixers have? You think that are like making a factor? Embiid, Tobias, Ben.
No,
and Seth, maybe.
I'm not saying no Ben,
but at least it's not. I ain't say factor on the scoring board as far as points.
Like bro, even the scoring board, like I only want to throw Ben into that. Like defense, yeah,
that's what I mean. Defense, rebounding, and assists. That's where he's been is showing his part at.
It's to the point that I don't even care about being field goal attempts. I don't even care about his points no more, bro. Like. My thing is, like, I can't even have you on the court in, like, key moments because they're going to foul you. Or, like, the last play of the game, you can't even be out there to run the set or push ball the court because you can't get a shot off.
Okay, let's talk about
we got to put Shea. I'm not disrespecting dude. He's an NBA pro, but you got to put Shea in the game as a replacement for a guy who's an all-defensive, all-star, former all-NBA type player.
So let's talk about that. So
Ben is like Porzingis, bro. Like, he getting paid all this money and he ain't delivering.
So all right. So do you think? So basically, you saying Sixers never gonna win anything because, one, if it ain't Ben Simmons, can't be on the court in crucial situations, right? And then your best player might not even be there because he hurt all the time. So is this so for Sixers to win a championship? What, like you're going to hope you're playing a team that doesn't have an offensive firepower? And hope Embiid can stay healthy just for the series, because I like if that's all we gonna hope for, like Doc Rivers gonna I know he pissed already. Like there's no way he gotta be upset.
They're gonna get one more time to correct this. They should have just gave up Ben and whatever to get James Harden.
They should have did it. I would have done it.
They will have one more time to correct this. You better go try to get Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard out of this situation. If you don't go try that and flip Ben for one of those dudes, whatever y'all get, you deserve it, because you already, Markelle Fultz at the time was considered the consensus number 1 pick, but at the same time, if you already got Ben as a point guard, why would you go get another ball dominant guard like Fultz? You should have took Tatum and then Bridges
or Ingram, either one. And
then
Ingram was
Bridges.
Lonzo.
Yeah, then you had Bridges come right out of Villanova, right there in Philly, and you trade him. So you could have had the wings. And at least Tatum, all NBA All-Star type. Bridges is a ascending young player. You could at least had you, you could at least had you another wing type player, but you gave them all away. Now you stuck with Ben for the most part. You need a guard that can do more than this.
You had Jimmy.
Try to get you.
You had Jimmy. Can't forget that.
You let Jimmy walk out the door. Didn't get nothing for Jimmy. I mean, you signed a Horford to a terrible deal.
You got Seth Curry. I just playing. He be balling. I mean, for what the team need, they need Seth Curry.
They definitely need Seth.
So,
you let JJ go.
Yeah. So, I love it. It's crazy. I love Doc Rivers. I like Ben Simmons a lot. Like, I really think when you put him on the right team, which I never think him and Embiid work together, but I mean they still win. So but are they gonna win it all? And that's. If you can't put your best player on the court in the games, that's saying something.
That's how I'm looking at it.
When your best player is a wing, like not a big man is like Gobert or something.
Like, I'm on this wave. If the Blazers hire D'Antoni, you gotta trade Dame for Ben. A Ben type person can run D'Antoni offense. Just get a bunch of shooters, because it's all offense anyway. So at least Ben can be your Magic Johnson and just spread it out.
And Steve Nash and Harden, who played in the D'Antoni system, ain't played all world-class defense like Ben Simmons can play. So that's another element that you can bring to the Yeah, I mean,
if you're gonna hire D'Antoni, go ahead and let Dame go to Philly. I mean, you can make the money
whole
match
Blazers
up.
team can shoot threes anyway.
Yeah, make the money match up, figure it out, be in for Dame, throw in some picks, some pieces, make it work. If you get a big three of Embiid, Dame, and Tobias, you can roll with that for.
That's nasty.
You can roll with that in the East.
That's a championship. That got to be. I mean, I know the big three there, but if Dame can outscore anybody on the big three in Brooklyn, and Embiid can't be stopped, that's saying something.
If you can make that happen without giving up
Matisse Thybulle, buy me a Dame jersey right now. Feel it.
Yeah, you got to make that trade without giving up Matisse Thybulle because you need a defender to go with Dame.
Yeah, and I don't think they would give him up. I think you just have to give up. She might have to get send off Seth with him probably. But you would got to give up something.
Like you would hope not just because you got CJ.
Well, who's you gonna give up? Milton?
And I don't know, man.
No, and that's the thing. And that's why what scares me about this Sixers Hawks series is because they didn't go 3-1. When you're playing a team that has more players than you, I don't care what you say. You got so at most, even if you say you don't count Ben, so you got 3 players: Embiid, Tobias, and Seth, and you got Ben Simmons from not from a non-scoring aspect. Outside of that, who else you got that's going to make an impact? Korkmaz and Shake Milton? No.
They trying.
Danny Green out for what, 4 weeks? So then you got on the other side, you got Trae Young, who has the ability to have 20-20 game any night, apparently. Bogdanovich, who can score 20. Capella, who can dominate the glass and still have, the alley-oops and stuff, get you 20. Collins. Lemon Pepper Lou off the bench, Gallinari off the bench. Like, it's just so many guys that can put the ball in the basket. You don't want to.
That's why I've been picking the Hawks so much, man.
And
they get going anytime.
And you glad Hunter's not here, like to slow down Tobias, because if you could eliminate Tobias, you're done. So that's what scares me most about the Sixers is like you're so close for winning the championship, yet so far away, and that's the sad part. Oh
yeah, man, they. Kind of like some other teams, man. They kind of dug this grave for themselves. They got to live with it.
Yeah. And I want to, before we get out of here, I want to say Doc Rivers is not overrated. I feel like I would have to defend. Man, I got to defend Doc too much, bro.
Hey, I don't know if this is a hot take or what, but I think Doc Rivers is up there as far as like one of the top 10 to 15 best coaches ever.
I'm with you. No, I agree with you. That's the point. That's bro. First off, this is how we're gonna end the show. First off. You don't have that many great coaches in the NBA. Name them. Pop, Phil, Pat Riley. I guess you want to say Red Auerbach back in the day.
I mean, you got to go with Chuck Daly. Larry Brown.
The next name you go
and like all those guys have won championships too. So like now you get into like
to the Rick Carlisles and the Eric Spoelstras and the George Karls of the world. You might as well say Doc Rivers.
Yeah, like you get into guys who either have not won championships, like you got Don Nelson, George Karl, the guys like that, or like the one championship guys like the Carlisles, the Docs. Spo has 2. Steve Kerr ain't putting enough work in. He got 3. You just kind of get into that realm.
You said their name less than 10 coaches of all time.
I mean, you can throw Rick Adelman in there.
Rudy Tomjanovich.
Tomjanovich.
I guess you can throw in the Jeff Van Gundy. He was solid tonight. But that's the point. You're talking about guys who Doc Rivers can be better than, or is better than.
Yeah, you got like a solid,
a good 7, a good 7
to 8.
That's it.
You got a good 7, 8. You can go right there, but after that,
that's it.
I can put Doc resume up against anybody else in the like once you get like 8, 9, 10, I can put Doc resume up against anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Do not tell me
he's top 10.
Do not tell me Doc Rivers is overrated when he can be a top 10 coach of all time. That's not overrated. That's not over. No, stop it. Like that. And I'm glad you're on the board with it because I said had to like do a whole video about Doc Rivers with the Clippers. I'm not a Clippers guy. Like I ain't about to. I'm over here gotta defend my guy because people keep saying he's overrated. He don't know what he's doing. Come on, man. Get out of here, man.
Like he made the record wasn't great, but he made the playoffs with the Magic 3 times. Of course, with Boston, he had like almost a decade run there. So they made two finals, won one.
I never. And then you know what to say about Doc Rivers? Oh, well, he had T Mac and Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, and Kawhi, and Paul George. Who the hell Phil Jackson had?
Hey,
who did Greg Popovich have? Like,
bro,
what?
But like that's how the coaches become great coaches. Like Phil had some all timers. Phil had three top teners.
And Scotty.
Look, bro.
Dennis.
Phil had 3 top teners. You could say he probably had 3 top fivers, a top 25, 30 in Pip, and another top 50 in Dennis. So yeah, Phil had a squad. Of course, you got to make Pop a top 10 guy in Duncan, a top 25 in David. And still you got to go Manu and Tony.
I don't say and tell me that he got all these great players.
Pat Riley had 2 top fivers.
Come on now. That's
plus another top 50 in Worthy, and then he went on to some success in New York with another top 50 in Pat Ewing. Had another all-timer with Shaq and D Wade on Miami when he won them. So I mean, the great coaches, they succeed because they have
great players,
great talent.
Right. And I think with all the rings that Red Auerbach got, wow, Bill Russell, the Sam Jones, the Casey Jones, the Havliceks, and even like coaches like John Wooden. When he in college, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton back to back. Oh, like what do y'all expect coaches to do? They're not gonna win with sorry players.
Like on the playoff side, Doc does leave some more to be desired.
I'm about to say he do got the 3-1. He got like what 2 of them, 2-3-1 blown.
Yeah, like he got a couple of blown leads. Like so on the playoff side, Doc does leave a little more to be desired. But that sometimes it's just a stubborn thing. Coaches be like, "Hey, we're gonna just push through. We're gonna roll what we got."
I'm about to say
a couple times on the Clippers, he had injuries with Blake and Chris Paul. So like it all balanced out, man. Like sometimes you have a 3-1 lead, sometimes you have injuries that make you go out second round. So, but at the end of the day, he's always maxed out whatever roster he had.
Yeah,
I mean, ideally he did, but of course. The 3-1 leads, you got to advance to the West Finals,
like
that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. But look, think about this: Steph Curry, is he not playing at star level? Like from what his role is, like he's not one of the best coming off screen shooting guards in the league. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's averaging like 15 plus points in the series. Like,
bro, forget Steph Curry for a second. He got the Sixers to 1 seed in the East his first year there.
Enough said.
Embiid was in the MVP conversation,
and would have won it if probably didn't get hurt.
He said he ain't gonna make Ben shoot no field goals. Just play your game.
And look what happened. 1 seed.
And they
almost won the player of the year. Almost won the fifth player of the year. Tobias playing his best basketball. I don't know, man. I feel like
Tobias' best career years have been with Doc Rivers.
And that's all you need to know. Like and he's doing it with 4 guys because Danny Green was straight boo boo the first game before he got hurt. So it's don't tell me Doc Rivers is overrated because we're gonna have this argument every time. Whoever's saying it, we're gonna have it every time. But that's our show for today, man. Game 5, like I said, Bucks and Nets on. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up. Make sure
it ain't
y'all
looking too good. It's 22-9 right now.
Y'all gonna make sure y'all subscribe to Wildcard Sports and Wildcard TV on YouTube, man. Make sure y'all follow us. Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We out.
Yes, sir.